The night didn't ask for anything. No grand entrances, no staged affection. Just the hush of the city and the steady rhythm of footsteps that fell in sync without trying. David Licauco and Barbie Forteza weren't dressed for attention. They weren't trying to be seen. But sometimes, when two people move through the world with quiet intention, they're impossible to miss anyway. They found their way to a small tucked-away spot off a side street neither of them had planned on. It wasn't fancy. There were no sweeping views or curated playlists, just the clinking of glasses, low conversations, and the occasional laughter of strangers. It was unremarkable in every way, and yet somehow it felt like exactly where they were supposed to be. He pulled her chair out, not out of habit but with care. She gave him that look again, the one that said she didn't need the gesture, but she liked that it came so easily from him. There was that soft pause before either of them spoke, where the world slowed just enough to feel it. That pause had started happening more often lately, like their time together had grown its own rhythm, and they were finally fluent in it. They weren't discussing scripts or schedules. Their world for the moment had nothing to do with cameras or industry buzz. They talked about how the light hit the floor in the morning, how she still wrote in notebooks even though she had a phone full of notes. He told her about a dream he had, one that made no sense but somehow stayed with him all day. She laughed at that, not because it was funny, but because she loved that he remembered it enough to share. There was something in the way they leaned toward each other without even noticing. The way his hand rested near hers, not touching, but close enough to remind her he was there. She reached for her water, and their fingers brushed. Neither of them pulled away. He looked at her then, not the way people look when they're trying to flirt, but the way you look when you're quietly amazed that someone like her is sitting across from you choosing to stay. She smiled, and it wasn't for the room. It was just for him. A smile soft around the edges, the kind that lingers because it comes from somewhere real. And in that moment it was easy to forget anything existed outside their table. Time passed, but they didn't measure it. They stayed long after the plates had been cleared, her hand now resting openly in his thumb tracing soft circles without thinking. They weren't flirting anymore. They weren't figuring it out. They were just in it. Fully. Quietly. Honestly. When they finally stood to leave, there was no need for a plan. No talk of what came next. Just the quiet, certain way his hand found the small of her back again. Just the way she leaned into him as they walked. And just the feeling between them that whatever this was, they weren't pretending anymore.